Hi, I'm Chris. This is Earth Awakens. There's a really important topic that I want to discuss, and that's the idea of karma. A lot of people have the impression that karma is some kind of punishment or justice system, and that isn't the case. I know that might be disappointing for some. There are people out there who maybe deserve wicked karma, if you will, and along with karma not being a justice system, there is no hell. There are probably people who you may feel deserve to go to hell. I'm sure you've probably met a few people, but sadly, in some cases, and happily in others, there is no hell. So you've been taught you're going to burn in hell. Yeah, that's a fallacy. There's no evidence in any of the thousands and thousands of regression sessions people have done. There's no evidence for hell. And there's no evidence for karmic retribution or karmic justice. The way karma works is as an educational tool. So you come to Earth, you live your 3D life, you live your experiences, you pass on, and you revisit with your guide what your life plan was, what you wanted to accomplish, and what you did accomplish, and the good and the bad of what you've done. After having a reunion with our fellow souls from our soul group, we may have a quick meeting with our guide, and many people have talked about something like an energy bath. That I think of it as washing away the dirt of the 3D hard earth school and helping to heal the damage that gets done to your soul while you're here on earth. And so after that, you will revisit your lifetime and all of the experiences that you've had with other people. And as karmic lesson, you will experience all of the interactions you had with people from their point of view. So if you were mean to people, you're going to feel that meanness. You're going to understand what they felt. Not just what happened, but what they felt. So the nicer you are and kinder you are, the easier that experience is going to be. I would say from today on, try to give joy wherever you can and give kindness wherever you can. Because remember that you might get away with something here on earth. You might perpetrate something against somebody and not get caught. But you will relive it again from their point of view with their feelings. In some cases, for some people, hell might be a preferable situation than that, depending on how bad they actually were. So that's one aspect of karma. It isn't really retribution or justice, it's lessons. So some people just go through life wreaking havoc on everything throughout their life, maybe never pay a price for that, but they'll understand the price they paid when they have that experience. And they'll review that with their guide. They will come to fully comprehend and understand what they did, where they went wrong, where maybe they went off the path that they had originally set out for themselves. And if it's a theme, in other words, you kind of do the same things life after life. For example, some people just are attracted to power and like to lord power over people. And even if they plan themselves a life where they don't have that power, they might, while they're here, move themselves into a position of that just because that's where they gravitate. So as a karmic lesson, they might actually plan a life again where they are a servant or a nobody, if you will, a nobody in society, and try to learn what is like on the receiving end of somebody lording power over you. That isn't justice. It's not a karmic justice. It's not payback. It's not revenge. It's a lesson. It's to help that person understand and grow and become well-rounded. If you think of a simple lesson, something like school lessons, where if you're terrible at math but you're really good at writing, when you're older and you have the choice, You might just stick to writing and say the heck with math because you'll never need math. But that isn't the way karmic lessons work. So karmic lessons would challenge you to get better at math, to be pursuing math and become well-rounded eventually. And it might take lifetimes. It might take many lifetimes. You might screw it up over and over again because, believe it or not, we're not perfect. Souls aren't perfect. Even the most evolved souls, I think they get close to that, but I don't think that they're necessarily perfect. They're just probably light years better than those of us still incarnating. So understand it's not a punishment. If somebody says karma's going to get you, well, it might, but it's not in the way they think, most likely. If you do something on this lifetime that's serious enough, then you'll work with your guide in another lifetime to understand how to grow over that, grow out of that, if you will. That's how I always think of it, sort of like a child growing out of a phase. And of course, it's much longer term than that, and it's much more dramatic than a simple childhood phase. Again, attraction to power, attraction to any number of unhealthy things, if you will, that the 3D Earth School has to offer. It is one of the things that makes it so hard when we're here on Earth and we have the separation from the divinity. We have that separation from the souls that we're close to. When we're in these bodies, we are completely separated. And that makes life here very hard. It makes Earth School very hard. But that's why we choose it. And always important to remember that you chose this life. You chose to challenge yourself with some of the things you're facing. Now, not everything, and I'll talk about that in another video, that people have free will. So not everything that's happened in your life is something you chose. If a child is abused by their family, that wasn't a life they chose. That wasn't karma for them being a dick in a previous life. That isn't how karma works. They may choose to be a secondhand citizen, if you will. For example, someone who is attracted to racism throughout multiple lifetimes might end up being somebody who's in that minority in a new lifetime, so they can experience the other side of the coin, if you will. They don't deserve to be treated badly. They may have chosen that life because they wanted that other side of the coin, to experience that aspect. And remember, today's minority is 100 years from now isn't the same thing. So those lessons and opportunities that are available to us in our lifetimes change. Keep that in mind. Everything that we choose about our lives, every aspect, male, female, heterosexual, homosexual, etc., different choices, different economic availability, different family units, different structures, different places. All of those things factor into the choices we make for our lifetime. So contemplate that when you're meditating. Think about why you chose the life you did. And don't focus on the things people have done. Even though it's hard to shake that and it might take a long time to heal the scars from things people have done. Think more about the larger life positions. For example, if you were born with some handicap, if you were born with some fault or born with some special skill, think about why you might have chosen this life and what you wanted yourself to overcome, or you wanted yourself to learn from this lifetime. Because now that you're waking up, you're watching this video, so you are waking up. You have that opportunity now to take the wheel, to understand. You have that opportunity to do a past life regression, a life between lives regression, to understand why you chose this lifetime and what lessons that you want to learn. And I strongly encourage you to do that. I think it's invaluable to be able to lift that veil and use the tools at our disposal to be able to lift that veil and understand where do you want to be and what do you want to pursue. What opportunities have you missed that you can still take advantage of? What goals do you still have now that you've learned the lessons you've learned in this lifetime? How does that change what you want to do with your life? Do you want to help people? Do you want to pursue a specific type of help? Do you want to learn more, travel, etc.? It's coming upon you now. You're awake. Use your life while you're still drawing breath. Life is glorious. It is a gift. You chose to be here. Go out and take advantage of this amazing 3D world we have. Shake off the darkness and keep sharing your light.